I'm on a journey to excellence, so I've invited some friends to take that journey with me as we discuss the ways of the culture, examining, critiquing, and challenging the world to be more excellent with their actions and thinking. On this journey, I invite you to taste what is good, look at what inspires you, and listen to the things that motivate and challenge you to excellence. The Black and woke movement is very loud and prevalent, right? It's very
popular to be woke.
it's a thing to be
Is it black and woke or just woke?
both. I'd say both. I mean, because we're all black, I'm using black and woke. But for those who aren't black, if you're woke, because there are a lot of multicultural people who are just woke. There are people of color who are woke. I don't want to just say black because that's not. I don't want to. You know what I mean? And I would say personally, I think there is like freedom now, more freedom to be woke or to understand. Like when we talk about things in the black community that have happened to us for years that some people may not know about or some people may not understand or where it comes from, like the history of stuff. People are more outspoken about these things, right? As opposed to 20, 30, 40 years ago, we weren't really able to talk so freely about. I mean, there were people who were talking freely about being, about the history of things, right? I think about Angela Davis. Right. I'm thinking about Angela Davis. I'm thinking about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, like all of these very prestigious people. I mean, people who would just
use their platform,
killed it,
absolutely.
Yeah, use their platform to spread the wokeness, right? But today, though, like in 2018, how do you all feel about it? How do you all feel about being woke? Do you feel like it's being overused? Is it over like saturated? We use that word a lot. Or do you feel like this is a good time to be woke? Like, do you feel like it's effective using that term?
No, I would say.
Go ahead.
I would say from. I'll start with colorism because I think this is principally it's kind of along the same lines where it's an inclusion and exclusion of a certain people. Right. So if we wrestle with colorism.
We being
African American, Black culture, we wrestle with colorism. I mean, and it's not just us, Hispanics, other groups, cultures wrestle with it also. But I feel like our issue with colorism, and I don't know when that's gonna come to, but I feel like if you're not woke, then you sleep, right? It's like it's one or the other, right? So it's. If I'm woke and I'm looking at you and saying, "Oh, look at him, he's sleeping," you don't know. There's already a divide right. It's incredibly divisive, and so for people who are using their platform, that's beautiful. But if we all used our platform, there will be no room for judgment because we realize the opportunity to educate others versus the opportunity versus the pride in saying I'm woke, or if I can even say like dressing like you're woke, but you're actually just trying to like just hold a position in the culture, right? Being a poser. So I'm not really excited about this whole woke thing. I get it. I understand the importance of it.
Right.
I understand being knowledgeable of our culture, of our history, where we want to go, and being able to know where we want to go based on the patterns of our past, right? Based on where we've been and learning from that and applying.
Right.
but I feel like it's incredibly divisive, and that's what I've seen it been, being that I'm married to somebody that's not from our culture.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I
man.
walk around with
Where's
somebody.
he from? Where's your husband from?
He's from Germany.
Cool.
Tall, green eyes, blonde hair.
I thought you were gonna be like Boris Cujo.
Nah.
Right.
And we we just look like an odd pair. It's great, except for woke people have an issue with it.
Yeah.
If I walk somewhere,
It's a shame.
I've been called out of my name
What?
several times. Yeah. Where it's like people are like,
That's ridiculous.
"Ah, you such a B. I can't believe your
did-
ancestors."
excuse me?
Yeah,
Really?
just straight out. I'm walking down the street with my husband, and
What?
this is where I'm like, okay, now we're going in the wrong direction now.
Because
And you're in Atlanta.
And I'm in Atlanta.
you live in that
Black
Central.
That's
so
crazy.
it's funny. I was watching one of the episodes of Dear White People. Did I watch the show?
Yeah.
And the last episode I watched was of this guy. This girl, she's really beautiful, but she's she's darker. And people always like, why aren't you ever with anyone? So this guy really showed interest
that
in
one?
her. Did you see
One
that one?
Yes.
Okay,
that I've seen.
Right. So this guy
That's crazy.
who's also beautiful, dark skinned brother, whatever. Reminded me of him. Anyway, who took interest in her, and she's feeling him, but then all of a sudden she brings him to her school, and he sees her friends, and one of her friends, I forgot her name on the show, is half black, half white.
Yes,
and he's
Sam.
like, you with this mutt? Like, he got mad at the fact that
crazy.
she hangs out with somebody who's
Mixed race.
biracial. Then he got mad that she was cool with another white dude.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what? Why
What's
are you
happening?
so angry about?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Yeah.
opposed it? You should be. Yeah. So that was, and I think he was a hotep. I think it was
Hotep.
called. And it was like, no, he's a hotep.
Yeah.
I actually don't know a lot about hotep. We were talking about that before.
I don't know how living in Brooklyn you don't know what hoteps are.
Not that I don't know what they are. I just don't know a lot about hoteps.
Yeah, like
Educate us.
Yeah, educate the people.
hotel. Well, actually, I would believe.
Let me check the
hotels,
camera.
too.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you.
Woke. I think one woke can be subjective because they're, what one calls woke, another person can call divisive.
Sorry.
But ultimately,
Divisive.
But even before that, like I'm of the opinion and belief that I think a lot of people are many. Their wokeness is surface, insofar as listen, Jesus said, a couple times he says, arise, O sleeper.
Yeah.
In some instances it says, awake, O sleeper. So Jesus was the wokest mug out this
Right.
So and he was speaking like spiritually. And I'm of the mind that you can't be woke about something else before you can be woke about yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Start there.
You know
Let's
what I'm
break it
saying?
down.
Yeah.
Start there.
If you're not woke about your own situation and your own spiritual depravity, then trying to be woke about something else, albeit legitimate, it's like putting band-aids on gunshot wounds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think and so because the spiritual element has either been forgotten or dismissed or devalued, people are again like scrubbing surface, and not that it's without like there's some things that do need to be advocated and marched in, but again if you're not being woke about yourself, i.e. your own depravity or place in this universe, then you can kind of like running on a treadmill,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, and you're prone to misdiagnose other people being awake or not awake, and also what being awoke about yourself first and having an honest view about yourself first, what it does is it allows you to show grace to someone who ain't.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
cutting down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not cutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, being woke is great. Being awake is great. Being aware of your surroundings, being aware of who you are. That's admirable and to be pursued. But if you're not woke about your own spiritual place or development.
Yeah.
You know, and in which I'm of the mind that that's the only real thing. If you ain't woke about that, then you know, we just going back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it reminds me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it reminds me of some people who followed Martin Luther King and some people who followed Malcolm X. You know, it was more Malcolm X, you know, well, you know, Martin Luther King was of the Christian belief, and then Malcolm X, he, from what I have studied, and you, like I said, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it was like, okay, don't deal with them being the white folks, don't mess with them, you know, they're evil or whatever it is, and that's why we still have, that's not why, but we always will have those two mindsets, especially because, like what Warner said, we're not dealing with the real issue, which is sin. So a lot of times when people said, you know, when we were doing a lot of the protesting and stuff like that, I didn't go. Now, some people didn't like that. To me, I felt like it didn't do anything because of the real issue, which is the sin in our hearts. And I know that's real abstract. And I'm not saying it doesn't. Martin Luther King, obviously, and our ancestors, it worked. Well, it worked for. Let me get my mind together. But I would say it had its place, and it does have its place, even now. But to me, it's like, how do you put together laws to stop people from doing certain things when their heart is just not correct? You know, their mindset, the whole view of how their whole worldview is just off. So yeah, that's just my thoughts about like the protesting and the, you know, like I understand why we got to be woke. We should be, but like what's your definition of woke?
I guess everybody has a different
definition.
definition.
Dr. King and Malcolm X, because I guess in the beginning they did.
In the beginning,
start, but over time, you know, Malcolm
he changed his mindset.
And actually, Martin Luther King, in one of his last public airings, or you know, he was like, you know, insofar as he said, I'm gonna misquote him, but he said something to the effect of, he was being interviewed by a white reporter, and he said something to the effect that about black people trying to get involved in or trying to win the approval of a burning building or something like that. I'll look up the quote, but keeping with Dr. King, insofar as like being woke and protesting, you know, he has this quote, and again, I'm not going to quote it directly, but in that he says that while laws can't legislate a man's heart, it can keep a white man from punching me in the face. You know, and
so it has its place.
Ultimately is a man's heart. Trying to, you know, being woke about yourself. But in the meantime, in between time, there's certain legislation and laws that absolutely should be changed to make our time here more, you know, to make it better, to make it more just. So
I don't know.
I got the quote.
It
says, we have fought hard, and this is Dr. King, we have fought hard and long for integration, as I believe we should have, and I know that we will win, but I've come to believe that we're integrating into a burning house.
Wow.
I'm afraid that America may be losing what moral vision she may have had, and I'm afraid that even as we integrate, we are walking into a place that does not understand that this nation needs to be deeply concerned with the plight of the poor and disenfranchised. Until we commit ourselves to ensuring that the underclass is given justice and opportunity, we will continue to perpetuate the anger and violence that tears at the soul of this perpetuate the anger and violence that tears at the soul of this nation. So, you know, I brought this quote up to say that, you know, like, yes, in the beginning, Dr. King and Malcolm X, at least ideologically, although they were fighting for the same thing, they had, you know, different perspectives. And toward the end of their lives, Malcolm had definitely moved closer to where Martin was, and Martin, you know, although he believed in integration, he was very much like, I'm going to rethink this, because I think we're trying to integrate ourselves into a burning situation that needs to be dealt with.
And he said we're moving. What did he say about the morals? we're morally.
I'm afraid that America may be losing what moral vision she may have had.
So imagine how if he was alive now, like how would he feel? It's true, and that's what we were talking about with the music. Like that's really what it is. It's like we came from here, or did we? We were at a certain point. Like people always use the Lucy and I Love Lucy show, and they couldn't sleep in the same bed even though they were married, not on television. And then now we see butts and like everything. Curses and everything on regular TV, not on cable, not on not on Hulu, or like it's just normal TV, and so that's really what's going on. So I mean, imagine when we're long and gone, how would it be now at that point?